Diets and workouts, you've done the work, so why can't you get to your goal weight? That's because up to 70% of your weight is predetermined by your genetics. So while you've been told that it's all about your willpower, you're actually fighting your biology. Don't do it alone. Found's Doctor Design program uses medication as part of a treatment plan that targets your body's unique biological needs, so that your body works with you and not against you. Take the quiz at joinfound.com to see if Found's weight loss program is right for you.
You've discovered your link to GoPowercat.com's Powercat Podcast. Now, here's your host, GoPowercat.com publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Today's Sources Podcast is about accidental greatness. Now, maybe not accidental, that might not be the word, but when Collin Klein was recruited to Kansas State, he was a high school quarterback, tight end, receiver, and a basketball player who infamously told us in the recruiting process that he had an offer from UNC. We were impressed. And then we realized it was Northern Colorado, not North Carolina. But still, Collin Klein was a great high school athlete out of Colorado. And he actually came to Kansas State recruited by Ron Prince. See, not everything about Ron Prince was bad, now was it? Collin Klein came to Kansas State, and when Bill Snyder took over, he said, "You are a receiver." So Collin Klein moved, and eventually he moved back quarterback. He didn't throw the ball that well. He didn't really fit the mold of a quarterback. But what he had was an underlying desire to be great and some of the most remarkable toughness I've ever seen in a college football player. We know Collin Klein's story now, don't we? He went on to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in Kansas State history. A runner-up to the Heisman Trophy, probably should have won it if the Heisman voters hadn't lost their minds. And Collin Klein will always be cherished in K-State football history for leading Bill Snyder and his Wildcats to their second Big 12 championship. Collin Klein was a great college football player, but you couldn't tell it by his recruiting. Even Bill Snyder didn't recognize the greatness when he first took over the program again in 2009. Going to make him a receiver. No, Collin Klein was a quarterback, and he recognizes what makes up a great quarterback, and he sees that in Skylar Thompson. Welcome to the Sources Podcast, the podcast in which I talk to the people that we consider our sources and let you listen to them. And today we are talking with Kansas State quarterbacks coach Collin Klein. And a lot of this discussion, of course, will be about his prodigy, Skylar Thompson. And Skylar has been a very maligned subject of Kansas State fan scrutiny. He's great, he's awful. And in reality, he's somewhere in between. But one thing that can never be denied about Skylar Thompson following Saturday's 38-35 victory at Oklahoma, that sucker knows how to win a big game. He's got some Collin Klein in him. He's maligned at times, doesn't always throw the ball perfectly, but man, is he tough. Maybe not Collin Klein tough. I mean, he was the honey badger. He was tough as nails. But Skylar Thompson keeps getting up and going forward and playing, diving into the end zone, taking hits in the pocket, and really putting it all on the line, as head coach Chris Kleiman would say. The team responds to Skylar Thompson. So if you could, for the rest of this season, even when he has one of those down games, because he is a little bit inconsistent, isn't he? Don't be calling for the backup. Yeah, I want to see Will Howard as much as the next guy, and I talked to Collin Klein about him, and I tell you what, he's going to be a really great quarterback eventually. For now, Kansas State football is led by quarterback Skylar Thompson, and the man behind him, leading the way, teaching and mentoring, is Collin Klein. Here's my discussion with Kansas State's quarterbacks coach, Collin Klein. Coach, not a bad win. I'll say that. It wasn't bad at all. From your standpoint, watching that game, how did this happen? I mean, it's incredibly rare. I think it was 1 out of 546 occurrences in the last, 12 seasons a team behind a top 5 team by 21 points came back and won. You're only the second team out of almost 600 to do it. How did it happen?
Well, first of all, just so proud of our guys and our whole staff for just being able to keep our heads down and keep fighting. And it's one of those things that when you're in it and you get going, I think walking up and down the sideline, I was able to just feel and see our guys were enjoying the fight of it, and obviously you never want to get down 21 points and you never want to get down 21 points to, a team like that. So, but just embracing the grind, trying to focus again, just one play at a time and just seeing, and then let it happen how it happens. And it did.
Compare and contrast Skylar Thompson's performances in that Arkansas State loss and what he accomplished down at Oklahoma.
I think, we were just able to connect on some huge plays. We left 4 of them out there, 2 weeks before, and, weren't able to make it work, and this week we did. Obviously the post on 3rd and 18 to Sebastian Taylor. Sebastian goes up and makes a huge play. We're able to bring him across the field a little bit and convert. That was huge. Getting the ball to Deuce Vaughn. He does a great job, making the will linebacker miss. And then we fit the ball, in between the mic, and he makes the free safety miss and does the rest, throw it 5 and run for 70. I don't mind that one bit.
Yeah. That's good play calling, by the way. Are we only seeing the surface of Deuce Vaughn right now?
He to be able to do what he's done just from a cerebral level in our offense is probably one of the most impressive things. We've got he works incredibly hard at it. He studies incredibly hard, and then he's got a level of natural instinct that is it's pretty fun to watch. And he's got. Obviously, none of us are perfect. Got a long way to go, but it's going to be fun to watch him grow.
Yeah, it will be. Back to Skylar. He's got a level of toughness that I've seen in you and Jake Waters, and it just kind of goes with being a K-State quarterback. You're going to get knocked around a little bit, but you got to keep getting up and going after it. And he just was relentless in Norman, wasn't he?
It was, I'll tell you what, absolutely. And his commitment and love for our team and his teammates and, the game of football is really cool. And it's, he takes a lot more whacks from the pocket, than I did, because, he's standing in there and throwing a dig route, throwing a stop route and being able to, even on the post, just kind of find that soft spot in the pocket with people around him and get knocked around. So, and be able to still hang in there and still be focused. And, probably the biggest thing he's done for us in the first 2 weeks is take care of the football,
right.
And that's something that is, the turnover margin has been huge and was huge in that game. And is something that, again, we just have to continue to protect the football. And then he does a great job of that.
How deep is he into this offense now in terms of knowing it as well as he seemed to know the previous offense? He looks a lot more comfortable at times right now.
Year 1 to year 2 is a big jump, and we ask a lot of them just, in the huddle and at the line of scrimmage. And, he does a great job studying, but there's no doubt that time and real life bullets are, you can't replace those. And he has applied himself and with that time and experience has made great strides for sure.
Watching that offensive line play Saturday, it looked like they grew up as a unit, that they finally figured out how to work together. And the one that jumps out at me is how well blocked Deuce Vaughn's touchdown run was. They completely sealed that edge and let him get through there. And I wasn't seeing that at all against Arkansas State. It was kind of domination plays at the line. That line came along on Saturday, didn't they?
No question. And you even, if you look at it, just because of our inexperience and a lot of new faces, none of those we hadn't been tested in a big environment like that, and exactly like you said, we're able to settle in, in the second half and eliminate some of the pre-snap penalties and kind of get into a little bit of a better rhythm and not get behind the sticks like, we did in the first half. And that's everybody. I mean, it's not just them. It's how fast everybody gets in and out of the huddle. It's the quarterback being clear with the communication of snap counts and operational stuff. And it's like you said, it's all coming together, and they did that and, really hung tough and improved. And that's been our mindset. It needs to continue to be our mindset, is just one play at a time and improve and get better.
There was an opportunity to get Will Howard into this game. Sometimes that'll come because Skyler gets knocked around, but I suspect you guys want to just find some time to sneak him in there too. How important is this season for him, considering like players just like him and Deuce Vaughn, the season doesn't really count in terms of eligibility. It's all added bonus. So is getting Will Howard out there often kind of a hopeful goal?
We haven't really thought too much about that. I mean, we're trying to play our best football and win every snap to win every drive and win every game, and when Skyler got dinged up in the first game, he did a great job of being ready and going out there and doing his job. And we're going to ask him to continue to do the same thing. And, obviously see how everything goes. I mean, would love to obviously get him experience and whatnot, but at the same time, we need to play our best football and obviously just keep getting better this year.
Last year's win over OU was dominating, and until the very end when you're hanging on for dear life. But that one was clear cut. This one was impressive because the nature of how you guys rallied, and also in the context of what had happened 2 weeks earlier and how dreadful that loss felt. Does this loss feel even more significant? Or excuse me, does this win feel even more significant just because of how the guys rallied in terms of the season context and also the game?
I think, every win you get right after it feels like the most, the best one ever, just because winning is so hard and doing it, just how you prepare and doing it the right way. So, I think more than anything, just watching how, like you said, the team responded, and bought into the, hey, we got to get better each and every snap. And that's, we can't be worrying about who we're playing, what the scoreboard says, positive or negative. We've got to lock in and do our jobs for the guy next to you and our football team and to watch that and be able to get rewarded, with the win is obviously big time. But, just like you look at every game, there's a lot of things that, that we still need to do better. And that, we're going to be pushing extremely hard on, and obviously fortunate to have positive reinforcement with the win.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the sidelines, how the guys never gave in. You go into halftime down 21-7. And there was a sense of fortune in that because Rattler had been very good. He had the 2 interceptions were his only incompletions. But they proved to be very significant in the game because, not only leading to points at times, but also cutting them off from drives. When in that second half did you feel it kind of swing back like, oh, it's going now? I mean, we're not just hanging on. We're actually really putting a scare into them, and we might just get this done.
I for myself, I don't know if I ever felt that. I think we had to focus every single play. And in the first half, we didn't let ourselves get started. I mean, we had 2 3-and-outs. We had 6 plays in the first quarter. You're looking at the deal going, well, shoot, we don't even know how they're going to line up because we haven't even given ourselves a chance to line up and see, different things. Yeah. So it's, and it was on us. Obviously, that's our fault, and defense had done a great job of, creating those turnovers and stops and keeping it within striking distance. But truly, Tim, we were all, I think, as a staff and players, just, hey, next play. Hey, we're down 21. Who cares? Next play. And we're down 21 again. Next play. And guys made some huge plays. We still weren't as good as on third down as what we need to be. But, 2 super explosive 70-yard plays, 2 quick scores, obviously, gave us a fighting chance. So,
yeah, those freshmen aren't bad.
I didn't even talk about Keon. Obviously, it was an unbelievable play on his part. Not only catching the ball with a guy running at you, but then putting 30 more onto it was unbelievable. Yep,
it was. And he kind of settled down there and made himself very available to his quarterback.
Right.
I love this offense when it gets going because it's so diverse. The play, we've talked about the running backs catching the ball, but the play I absolutely loved was when Sammy Wheeler was lined up as the fullback and came out and around and ran the flag route behind the post being run by Briley, wide open. And we're talking 2 tight ends in a pass route. I love it. That's really a really cool way to stress a defense.
It's been fun to learn. I know Coach Messingham and Coach Riley and Coach Anderson and Coach Raven, all of us. I mean, everybody does such a great job, and I've been so blessed and fortunate to, just to learn and study and help put this thing together. And it's an offense that distributes the football and understands that a lot of different positions are going to touch the ball from a lot of different formation locations. Guys got to be smart. They got to be studious and because when their numbers called, it's, they got a chance to make a play. And Sammy made that one, and Riley made a couple huge catches as well, and then the 2 young backs. So it's, again, it's been great, but we got a long way to go.
Yeah. Let's delve into that a little bit more. How different is this offense from what you ran at Kansas State? Because there's some overall philosophical similarities in being physical and running the ball and those things, but there are also some drastic differences. How different is this offense?
Yeah, I think to your first point, or one of your points, I think the similarities of identity, of structure and multiple personnel groupings, I think are a lot the same. We still run, a mixture of zone and gap schemes, probably a little bit less isolation, still are heavy, involved in, the play action pass game, probably run a little bit more, nakeds and things, than we did. We got to those types of things different ways, but, probably a little less option, overall. But again, same type of multiplicity as far as personnel groupings, formations, and then how we space and stretch the field. So it's, like I said, we got a long way to go from where we need to be.
But you still love to run that quarterback at the goal line. And Skyler delivers. He's got a great nose for the goal line. He's willing to pay the price to get there, isn't he?
Well, those guys up front make it happen. I mean, hugging that inside hip of his left guard made it work.
Let's take a quick break right now on the Powercat Sources Podcast.
The Powercat Podcast will be right back.
Selling a little or a lot? Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage, to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify is here to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. From their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system, wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Shopify helps you turn browsers into buyers with the internet's best converting checkout. 15% better on average compared to other leading commerce platforms. And sell more with less effort thanks to Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. And Shopify is the global force behind Allbirds, Rothy's, and Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning 24/7 help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/Odyssey Podcast.
Life as a parent is nonstop. I'm so focused on keeping my family healthy that I barely have time to take care of myself. If this sounds like you, then you need to give Symbiotica a try. Symbiotica is a health and wellness company that empowers individuals to take ownership of their health with high-quality formulas and supplements crafted to boost energy, immunity, gut health, and more. Symbiotica supplements are made with clean, natural ingredients, and they don't contain any toxins or artificial ingredients. Because they were designed for us, busy parents. They're quick and easy to take. Just a daily dose for your energy, immune system, and overall well-being. It's made staying consistent so much easier. And the best part? Symbiotica is having their holiday sale, so now's the perfect time to put your health in the driver's seat. Head to Symbiotica.com for 20% off with code GIFT20. That's CYMBIOTIKA.com with code GIFT20 for 20% off. Your health transformation journey starts now. Symbiotica Natural and Organic Supplements.
We now send it back to the Powercat Podcast.
Welcome back to the Powercat Sources Podcast. I now continue my discussion of Kansas State football and its quarterbacks with Collin Klein. Where is this program right now in this build under Chris Kleiman? I mean, is it just in the infancy and we haven't even really started to see things that we're going to see down the road?
Really hard probably to answer that question accurately with just the circumstances that we've been in this year.
Yeah.
Truly. I mean, it's been a day-to-day process. It's been a lot of unknowns. Everything has been brand new since March 6th or whenever, spring break was this spring. And so, we're just trying to focus again, one day at a time, trying to invest in our young guys, invest in our players, trying to be more disciplined, more hardworking, and care more for one another, and more accurate and studious in our football responsibilities.
Right.
And then see what we can do, and compete our butts off, until that last second goes off the clock, and see what we can do. So really hard to look at 10,000 feet right now.
Yeah. 3 testings a week. Is there a level of anxiety that comes with that every time the guys go in to get tested and about, who are we going to lose this time?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, it's been a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowns, and it's obviously you've got to control everything that you possibly can control. And ultimately, I say a prayer for protection every night, just because there's things in this world that are out of your control too, and you just got to do the best you can. So,
speaking of that, I was kind of overwhelmed by how well that defense played, considering all the guys that were out. The secondary was completely retooled from week 1. How good was the defense in this win?
Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, big time. It's, they've Oklahoma's done what they've done because they've been able to score a lot of points and in a hurry. And, being able to hold, again, a unit like that and a quarterback like that, and do what they did, create 4 turnovers. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then a 4th down stop, you could probably count that as 5. The punt team, I guess, got a block punt, so you can almost call that 6.
Yep.
Turnover, possessions gained, almost field position gained. So, it's tremendous. And I was so proud of their fight. And, you could tell by some of the things they were doing schematically that Wyatt and Khalid had really they were nervous about both of them, and they should have been, because they were creating a lot of havoc back there.
That brought me into my next question. How good was it to see Khalid Duke chasing someone else's quarterback instead of the guys you coach?
I'm glad you said it, not me. Because I was tired of him, getting in my sight, behind Skylar and our guys. So great to see him chase somebody else for sure.
How incredible has his breakthrough been? I mean, to go put on that kind of weight and then act like it was no big deal, and I'm even more explosive than I ever was. And in this season, when a lot of this had to be done on his own, it really is a stunning performance or upgrade for him personally.
Well, again, proud of him, obviously being ready and working hard, and he's obviously has incredible talent, but has obviously worked himself, into a position to be a difference maker. So,
how good is it to be in the football swing? I mean, now you had that one game you lost, and then you had a week off, and that probably was good for once to have the week off. But now you played, and you got another one, and then another one, and here you go. It's kind of the rhythm you have to settle into. It's got to feel good.
Absolutely, and it's been a non-rhythmic year, so being able to get in a routine and improve and get, I think it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge for us as a staff. It's going to be huge for our guys, and we just gotta one day at a time, and it's do our best and everything we can for the guy next to us. That's the goal.
Well, we've got another quarterback commitment for next season. When you go out on the recruiting trail, what are you looking for in a young quarterback? What's the things that kind of really capture your attention?
Is he competitive and has he won? If it's a team deal, it's not like, the quarterback is the, is the only one that makes that happen, but he's got to be able to help facilitate that happening. And so, has he won? Does he win? Number one. Number two, how does he love football, and does he love to study football? And I think those are really important. Some guys love football, but they don't really love to study football. And it's kind of just, it's got to be a part of you. You got to be a gym rat. You got to, it's kind of your hobby, and it's kind of what you love to do and what you love to study. And then lastly, obviously you got to have, the physical tools to be able to do it, and so in that order, I think that would be probably three of the top things that I'm looking for first thing.
Is that cerebral part maybe the biggest reason some guys fail? That football has been so easy for them at the high school level. They were always better than everyone else. And you don't have that at college. I mean, you got to be pretty special to be better than everyone else, but you better get a leg up in the film room.
No question about it. And it kind of creates bad habits a little bit.
Yeah.
Like you said, so, but it's, it's huge because it's, your body's only going to do what your mind can tell it to do. And at the end of the day, if you're not able to process quickly, to make decisions, to lead your team, you can have the best arm in the world, but it's not going to work out for you.
I'm really curious about something. You're the only full-time coach that survived the transition. You still got a lot of people around you that were in the previous regime. Taylor, bless you. You got him around all the time. But, some of the young guys, but it seems like it's been seamless, that you just kind of ended up with a new boss and a lot of new coworkers, and yet it's still K-State football. I mean, there's some differences in the way the program's run, but I think from the outside perspective is this thing just kept moving in the right direction.
Well, it's. I think the first part is just a testament to Coach Kleiman's character and every single one of my coworkers, their character and integrity. And I could go right down the hallway and tell you multiple things and examples of each one that have impacted me as a young coach. And kind of being a little bit of the young guy on the block too, and in that way. So a lot of experience, a lot of truly guys that care about these young men far beyond, the actual game of football, and are willing to invest and take the time that's needed to help them out in that way. And that's, that's been K-State for a long time.
Right.
This is what we do. It's not who we are. And it's about doing it in a way that sets an example of excellence and pride and taking care of one another. And that's, to me, I think, been the biggest factor in that.
And that's not only the way you kind of have to do it at K-State. You're not going to go out and load up on a bunch of 5-star recruits, at least right now. Maybe that's in the future. I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence that that's going to happen, even when Coach Snyder was rolling. But it also seems like it's the best way to do it. I mean, it's the most fulfilling way to do it, and best for the student athletes to experience it that way.
Well, I think, like you said, I mean, it's that has been the K-State way, and working hard, and on a level that, not everybody likes that much, and that's a good thing, because nothing that's worth doing or doing at the highest level is easy, and so I think instilling that and having guys that have that mindset is, it has been the K-State way.
I've noticed that you have the white helmet up on your shelf behind you. How much do you like that? I mean, all you wore were the silvers. Maybe you got a camo sticker once in a while. But how cool was it to have that white helmet and the other changes?
Well, it's camo. I'm a big camo fan. So, it don't matter what kind of camo or, it is, I'm all for that. But, I haven't even thought about it that much. I mean, it's neat. It's cool. But, at the end of the day, we got to win games. If we win games, all the uniforms look a little shinier, so that's just, that's the bottom line.
Well put. Where does Collin Klein want to go with his career? Do you see yourself as a head coach on down the road, or is that just you're taking care of one day at a time, and what the path is, you will take it when it arrives?
One day at a time, whatever the next step is, and whenever it is, it'll happen how it's supposed to, and trying to be the best today and tomorrow and this year, and for my guys and this team and Coach Kleiman and my coworkers, and I love this game and I love people, and however it ends up all shaken out, we'll as long as we've been able to make a positive impact and a difference in the world, then we'll call it a day.
Yeah, one of my things I've learned over the last few years is, as a man of faith, you don't know your path. You just have to trust it. You just when you feel it under your feet, you got to keep moving forward, and obstacles come, and that's just life.
No, well said. And it's like you said, just any opportunity you have that, with where God's placed you and the walk that He's given you to walk to help somebody else that's either going to go through that at some point or is going through it, and obviously be a good testimony like you've been. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, we've learned this through these two games. Every week's going to be totally different this season. It always is, but this season it almost feels magnified. Trying to get the guys settled down here on a Monday to lock in on Texas Tech. Is that more difficult than usual? Because that was a big one, and now they've kind of got some momentum.
I think it's a tremendous opportunity to, again, just reinforce the steps that made it happen, and just the true focus and intentionality of every detail of your job. And if you focus on that and everybody does that, special things can happen, and that mindset is something that we have to double down on, in particular after a win. But again, I think that feeling that I was talking about again is once you get it as an athlete, you get that taste of that fight and that struggle. And once you learn to embrace that, you're not focused on the results, and it then becomes a process-based deal. And that's contagious, and it's it's very replicatory, and it's exciting. And I think hopefully we need that to take hold and continue to grow.
And the good thing about being the coach is you don't wake up on Sunday morning unable to get out of bed because you just took a bunch of hits from Oklahoma. You can roll out and get your day going. Collin, I appreciate it a lot. I know you're busy.
Well, Tim, I appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon. So thank you.
Okay, buddy. Appreciate it. Well, that will wrap up this week's Sources podcast. I'm glad that Collin could make some time for us this week to discuss how well Skylar Thompson played at Oklahoma and what this means for the program. It's been an amazing transformation for Collin to go from being recruited by Ron Prince. That still blows my mind because he ended up being the consummate Bill Snyder player and learning so much about football under Coach Snyder, and now learning a different way under Chris Klieman. Similar but different offenses and very similar results as we're seeing with the early stages of Chris Kleiman's football program. I don't know what the rest of this season holds. Maybe last Saturday at Oklahoma was the high point. But I know this. Texas Tech comes to town on Saturday, and then Kansas State goes to TCU, and then Kansas comes in, and then K-State goes to West Virginia. And you know what I see? I see a lot of potential victories, but only if this team does what it did against Oklahoma. Focus on the task at hand and take the week of preparation to get better. They got off to a rough start, no doubt about it, but now they've kind of wiped that slate clean at 1-1, and more importantly, 1-0 in the Big 12. We'll see what Skylar Thompson and the Wildcats, with quarterback coach Collin Klein, do on Saturday against the Red Raiders.
Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.